We have a complete Anon Perceive color lens guide coming up next. Hey everybody, I'm Sunglass Rob from SportRx, and today we're going to talk about Perceive lenses from Anon. So Perceive is the new lens technology replacing sonar lenses. We're going to go over all the details of the Perceive lens and why it's so amazing. And then we're going to kind of break this up into three categories: the sunny day lenses, the variable light lenses, and the cloudy lenses. We're going to go over VLTs on each one and what each one is best for, and then talk about some of the other features that make Anon so amazing. By the end of this video, hopefully you're going to know exactly which setup is right for you. All right, let's get rolling. So Perceive is Anon's new lens technology that's replacing sonar. Sonar was great, but Perceive is better. So three things really make these quite amazing. One is true color contrast. So the way to make these new lenses that give you a color enhancing boost, contrast enhancing boost, is using different dyes and different filters to manipulate the light spectrum to kind of pop the colors you want to see and mute out the colors you don't want to see, which kind of really changes the world, sometimes quite dramatically. The difference between the Perceive lens and other lenses is Perceive is using multiple light filters to provide contrast, but still maintaining a more true to life, true world colors. So things aren't so extreme and really changing the world so dramatically to get that contrast. You're still going to get that contrast, but it's not going to completely change the way the world looks. Sometimes those lenses that do that are a little bit intense, especially after a long day on the mountain. So Perceive really thought about that and did a great job. The next thing is the optics on this lens, the high definition lenses you have. So Anon, when producing these, which are actually produced in-house by Anon, this is their own lens technology, actually created new machinery, and that's letting the goggles be created with less stress. A lot of times when you have a goggle shield and it has a little bit of stress in it, that's actually increases distortion in the lens. So these are basically stress-free, which is good when you're skiing and snowboarding. You don't want any stress. The lenses have a lot less stress in them, which actually really stops that distortion that's created by some other lenses. And then the last really major kicker is the improved hydrophobic and oleophobic coatings on the lenses, which is really a fancy way for saying the lenses stay cleaner longer, they smudge a lot less. That's the oleophobicness. And then the hydrophobic basically means water beads off the lenses a lot easier. Basically, water droplets just fall right off the lens, roll right off the lens. So much improved hydrophobic and oleophobic coatings. Wow, Perceive lenses are amazing. Okay, so you're here for a color breakdown. We're going to start with darkest to lightest lens. Really, this category right here is the sun lenses, and these are best for bluebird days. So the darkest lens is the onyx lens. That's this one right here. And this lets in only 6% of light. So this is a very dark lens. This is good for high altitude, really sunny days, sensitive eyes. Really, a cloud is not going to be rolling in. This is called the onyx lens, kind of like a dark black kind of lens. But because of the contrast enhancing technology, when I'm looking through this lens, really to me looking out, it looks like a really dark rose, which I really like, because even though this is a dark lens, you're still getting great contrast. The next lens is the red lens, and this has a VLT of 14%. Again, a very dark, very protective lens, but not as extreme as the onyx. And you get that cool red mirror when you're kind of looking through there. Like I said, 14% lens on here. And when I'm looking through here, again, you get kind of that deep, dark kind of rose to it. The next one is a really cool lens. This is the bronze lens. So when you're looking at me, it's kind of got this cool goldish bronze reflective coating, kind of really flashy, really fun. I like that kind of thing. And this one lets in 17% of light. When I'm looking at the world, this one has a real bronze, kind of brown, amber contrast, really nice. These lenses, like I said, are really good for sunny day conditions, not so great for overcast conditions. So as we move over to this side of the table, we'll get into lighter lenses that are really good for that. One thing to note really quick, with a lot of Anon goggles, the interchangeability is an amazing factor, and how quick and easy lenses are to interchange is amazing. So a lot of times most goggles are going to come with 2 sets of lenses, and you're usually going to get something from this kind of sunny family or this variable family, and then usually you're going to get something for low light conditions. So if you live in a place or you like to ski when it's really sunny, make sure that first lens is from the sunny day collection. All right, next up on the table are the variable lenses. So these are great for most conditions. If you're the type of person that doesn't want to change all the time or doesn't want to think about it, or where you ski and snowboard, it kind of changes a lot and you're not so worried about like the sunniest moments or the most overcast bad weather moments, these lenses get you through kind of most all conditions. It's like master of none, jack of all trades. What is that? You know what I mean. So the first one is the blue, and this one has a VLT of 21%. So when the world's looking at you, has a really cool kind of blue reflection on it. When I'm looking at the world, it's kind of a mix between bronze and amber. I would call it, or bronze and rose. This to me would be like a rose copper lens. Really beautiful color to look through. This one's great. Okay, and then the next one is the green. Very, very similar VLT. Really the main difference is the aesthetics. So this one's 22%. The blue is 21. This one's 22, just a hair lighter, and also a little bit more rose when I'm looking through it. I actually really love rose lenses. If you know me, you know I love rose. So this one is going to be the green lens with a VLT of 22%. And then next up, we have the violet lens. I love this one because there's not a lot of purple lenses out there, and my daughter's name is Violet. So violet lenses here have 34% VLT. So these are kind of one step a little bit lighter than the blue and the green lens. And like I said, all of these are great for kind of not extremes. Not for the sunniest day, not for the whiteout days, just kind of works well in most all conditions. That's the variable lenses from Perceive. All right, last up on the table, and maybe for a lot of people, the most important is the cloudy lenses. A lot of people, biggest complaints out there on the mountain is the hardest to see, the time where it's the hardest to see. And that's when it's bad weather. I mean, maybe good weather to you, depending on what kind of person you are. But if it's snowing really hard, if it's sleeting, if it's whiteout conditions, or if you like night riding, then this is kind of the part of the table you want to really pay attention to. There's 3 lenses here. We're going to start with the darkest of the light lenses. This one's going to have a VLT of 53%. So this one blocks out still about half amount of light out there. And this is called the pink. And when you're looking at me, you do see a little bit of pink. And when I'm looking at you, it's kind of a nice light bronzy color, really pops things up, really warms things up. If it's bad weather out there, sometimes getting too dark of a lens really kind of hinders the way you're seeing. By the way, speaking of seeing, did you know SportRx makes these amazing prescription inserts that fits inside your goggles and you don't have to deal with glasses or contacts? So cool, right? All right, moving on. The next one is the burst lens. I really like the name of this one because it really does that. This one's got a VLT of 59% and really pops things up. So you're really starting to get a lot of contrast, really good for those bad weather conditions. That burst lens from the cloudy family is just great. And like I said, this one's got a 59% VLT. And then the last lens is really cool because it works great for night. This is called the night lens, and it's got a VLT of 72%. You would think that maybe you would want it even lighter than that, but there's still a lot of lights and a lot of glare out there for night skiing. And with the Perceive contrast technology within this lens, this is actually, when you put it on, it kind of does feel almost clear, even though that 72% is in there. So don't let that scare you away. And even clear lenses like I'm wearing are still just about 90%. You can't really get to 100%. So really nice lens. If you have really a lot of trouble in that low light, or it's really a lot of whiteout conditions when you go, some people might even wear that night lens, not at night, just something that's closest to clear, that's just gonna be the least dark lens possible. So that is the night lens, VLT of 72%. That's the cloudy family from Perceive. All right, so just a few other features you might want to know about. Anon has a great ICT anti-fog technology. Basically, it's a porous cellulose on the inside of the inner lens. Really don't ever need to touch that if you don't have to, or clean it if you don't have to. If they're dirty, wipe them down, but you don't want to excessively touch that inside coating. It's got a lot of anti-fog technology that you really don't want to mess with. Another thing to remember about Anon goggles is the MFI compatibility. That's basically a magnetic face mask that just clips to the goggles really quickly and really easily. This season, I think face masks are going to be really, really important. And like I said before, that oleophobic and that hydrophobic coating keeps your goggles really clean for a lot longer, a lot less messing around with them or worrying about when they're dirty, especially on those long days where it's wet and cold out there and water's everywhere, the lenses are going to stay a lot sharper and a lot cleaner. And again, don't forget about being able to get these with a prescription insert from SportRx. Well, hopefully that was all the information you ever wanted to know about Perceive lenses, but if you have any more questions, we want to help. Put a comment down in the comment section and we will get back to you. Or you can call us. We have amazing friendly opticians on the phones that know everything about Anon goggles. You can also chat with us on our website, or you can email us info@sportrx.com. Also want to give a shout out to our See Better guarantee. If you get something from SportRx, you have 45 days to try them out. If you don't like them, you can exchange them. We pay for shipping both ways. There's no restocking fee, even on custom prescription stuff. How amazing is that? At SportRx, every day is a powder day. All right, thank you so much for watching that long video. If you want to see more, check them out over there, and we'd love for you to follow us on social media down below.